It's time for more Steam Deck coverage, and that means we're trekking back to the 3D dating sim world we experienced not long ago on the Nintendo Switch. That's right, the game that advertised itself as a visual novel until the very end of the trailer where it turns into a crazy yandere horror game. So let's dive right in and see how the Steam Deck can run Love School Days. For a brief summary, for those that didn't watch my Switch review, this is about a guy that plays a VR dating sim. After attaining the love of side heroine Machina, he tries to restart the game to go for a different ending, but Machina has become self-aware, modifying the game and not allowing him to be with anyone else. He's then trapped inside the dark game and is chased around the school by a hurt Machina that's gotten rid of all of her competition and will make him disappear too for betraying her. It's a crazy first-person horror game in a very anime VN environment. It doesn't have a great translation, but it's a really interesting and neat concept that kept me going back so I could see all the different endings. Now let's get the subject of content out of the way first and foremost. The Steam Deck definitely runs the game at a higher frame rate, but the Steam release currently lacks all of the new content added to the Switch version. So if you play on Steam, at least right now, you don't get access to the 6 new endings and new AI behaviors. We might get that content on PC in the future, but at the time of this video, you gotta play on the Switch to get that content. But on the bright side, the Steam version has different lighting. For those that want a darker experience, the draw distance is significantly reduced and it looks like a much darker place when you see far less in front of you as you roam around the school. And then we get into controlling this game. Despite the Switch release having a decent gamepad layout, Love on Steam does not support gamepads in any way, shape, or form. So in order to play the game on the deck without a mouse and keyboard, you have to use that mouse and keyboard controller layout and redirect commands over to the proper buttons on your controller of choice. This is fairly simple to do. To replicate the Switch's layout, you do things like throwing the mouse wheel movement to the D-pad, set B to the left mouse click, L1 to shift, R1 to C, Y button to E, and so on and so forth. You will also want to lower the mouse speed in settings to almost the bare minimum or it'll be way too sensitive for the right analog stick to move properly. Once you do that, it's essentially just like playing on the Switch. Though I will admit the left analog stick using W, A, S, and D for movement can be a little clunky at times. Though you will also have to deal with a weird mouse cursor over the screen from time to time. This happened mostly when I would change the control settings or swap between the deck being plugged into my dock. It isn't a huge issue, more of an annoyance with it moving around as you look. Thankfully, it will eventually go away, normally when picking up a new item. And that's all of that, so let's go into performance. You can use Proton if you want, but it's not necessary. Though diving into settings will be a little confusing at first. You can set resolution as well as texture resolution, though changing either of those doesn't really affect performance at all. The game always ran on my Steam Deck at 60 FPS with regular dips into the mid to high 50s, and it does that on full textures and does the exact same on 1/8 texture resolution. The secret here is to toggle the VSync option. With VSync off, resolution at 1280 by 720, and texture resolution maxed out, the frame rate stabilizes at 60. Outside of transitioning in and out of menus, gameplay never dropped from 60 FPS once I turned that off. That's all I have for performance, so let's go into battery life, which is relatively standard. On high brightness, you'll get a bit under 2 hours, clocking more specifically around 1 hour and 55 minutes, while on lower brightness, that'll jump up to about 2 hours and 15 minutes. Not really that long, especially compared to the 3+ hours you get even on the oldest Switch models for that version. So as we wrap this up, would I recommend Love School Days to Steam Deck users? I'd say a conflicted yes. The Switch still seems to have exclusivity to all those new endings and AI behaviors. So with the deck, you get a darker horror environment and a perfect 60 FPS, while the Switch has all those extra endings. If you don't mind missing out on that or plan to get the game on both systems, go for it. It does feel really great at 60 FPS. It's just a bummer Steam hasn't gotten that new content, at least not yet. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll be back soon with more Steam Deck performance and reviews. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. And as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.